I'm Slava Tilba. Welcome to Conversations with Slava. Today, I'm talking to retired Colonel Ann Wright of a peace group called Pink. Colonel Wright, in the article, Why Afghanistan is Falling to the Taliban So Fast, former US Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel L. Davis says about the Afghan National Security Defense Forces, quote, the site being routed right now has an army on paper of 300,000 men being given training by the most powerful military alliance on earth, received hundreds of billions in support, has at least a rudimentary air force, an armored fleet, and the backing of its government. How do you explain the advance of the Taliban and the retreat of the Afghan National Security Defense Forces?
Well, as Colonel Davis mentioned, the US and NATO both have been working for almost 15 years to train the Afghan National Army and the Afghan National Police. And as Colonel Davis said, 300,000 people have been trained and equipped, but they are not standing up to the Taliban, which is, an indigenous militia of Afghans and probably some other people that are in there, but it's primarily Afghan, that has had not the same type of training as the soldiers the US and NATO has, but they are a part of an army that actually is not a cohesive army. Many of the people that were put into the army were put in by the warlords of Afghanistan. The people who back in the Soviet time had their own militias that fought against the Soviets and then fought against themselves. And then when the Taliban came in the mid 1990s, they fought against the Taliban. So when the US came in, these warlords, many of them started working with the CIA. That would be General Dostum, General Atta, Ismail Khan. And they put their militias into the Afghan army to get training and equipment, but to be ready to be recalled to the warlords anytime the warlords wanted them back. So the loyalty to the national government by many of the people that were in the National Army and the National Police was not really there. It was more toward the warlords. And as we've seen now, the warlords are calling back their people. And that's where you see the surrender of many of the groups who say to the Taliban, well, okay, you've got more forces than we do. So we will surrender, not to die, but we will surrender and go work with you, which is kind of a tradition in Afghanistan, that rather than dying, that, yeah, okay, we're not winning now, we'll go over with you for a while. And so that's one of the reasons that we see the surrender. And then we see the Afghan government going to some of these warlords to say, you need to help maintain the government rather than recalling your forces. The president of Afghanistan was just up in Mazar Sharif this week talking to two of the warlords, General Dostum and Atta, about their militias. Also, Ismail Khan, who is the warlord for Herat over on the border with Iran, just today has flown to Kabul to talk with the central government. And that's probably going to be some sort of deals that are brokered with the Taliban, I would suspect. And probably Ismail Khan is telling the president of the country, well, for us to survive out in where we are, your forces aren't very strong, and I've recalled my forces, so that's just the way it'll happen.